Arizona News Radio. National Guard troops will soon be deployed along the Mexican border in Arizona and 3 other states.
We continue to see unacceptable levels of illegal drugs, dangerous gang activity, transnational criminal organizations, and illegal immigration flow across our border.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen. Arizona school teachers staged so-called walk-ins today prior to maybe a walk out of classes.
There's no counselors, there's no new textbooks, no new curriculum, and the students are hurting as well, so something needs to change.
Pima County Sheriff's deputies looking for a suspect who stole a high-priced bike in a smash-and-grab robbery in Tucson.
The suspect is described as a Caucasian male in his 20s with brown hair. He's wearing a black T-shirt, blue jeans.
And security is going to be tight. Pinal County Sheriff's deputies at Country Thunder near Florence.
We are fully prepared. We have people on patrol, people undercover. And
Schwartz Tatter, Arizona News.
It's time for your 1100 KFNX traffic report, brought to you by Compassion International. Taking a look out to Phoenix, we have an accident at the I-10 eastbound at 7th Ave, as well as 35th Ave south of Thomas Road. And in Avondale, be on the lookout for a collision at the I-10 westbound at Avondale Boulevard. Food, water, medical care, education, and more is what you'll give to a child in poverty when you become a Compassion Child sponsor. Release a child from poverty in Jesus' name at compassion.com/radio.
Hello?
From the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center, as we head into the evening under mostly clear skies, our low tonight 64. Thursday, mostly sunny, high near 92. Partly cloudy Thursday night, overnight low 64. And Friday, sunny with a high near 91. I'm Scott Allen Fortney from the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center.
Currently, in downtown Phoenix, it's 89 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
A good night's sleep starts with the right pillow. That's where MyPillow comes in, and we're excited to announce the new 4-pack special. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and save 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 MyPillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Use promo code SKY at checkout or call 1-800-635-1825. That's 1-800-635-1825. Or go to MyPillow.com, click the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code SKY at checkout.
For over a century, businesses like yours have counted on EMC insurance companies to protect them from risk. In addition to essential insurance every business needs, we offer specialized coverages tailored to niche industries, like nearly 100 types of light manufacturers, making everything from buttons to shoes to lights. Whatever your business makes, count on EMC to make your business stronger. Visit us at emcins.com to find your local EMC agent.
Live from the Midtown studios of KFNX, it's time for the Wellness Roundtable radio show, sponsored by Atrix.com. Now, here's your hosts, Dr. Spear and Dr. Weiss.
All right. Hello, and welcome to the Wellness Roundtable radio show. It must be Wednesday. I'm here along with my co-host, Dr. Scott Weiss, all the way from the East Coast. Dr. Weiss, how are you today?
Dave, I'm doing great. You know, and I'm really happy about what we're doing tonight because we always have great, amazing guests with so much experience, but, you know, we forget that both you and I can chat and have an amazing conversation on so many aspects to health, fitness, and wellness. So I'm glad to kind of get into a good discussion, a good debate, anything, you know, related to health and fitness that some of our listeners can relate to.
I agree, and you know, obviously this is a little bit different in a couple of ways. We've been on the radio now for a few months, and like you said, we've always had a guest on. So we're going to fly solo today and use our 40-plus years of experience in some areas of fitness and health, and kind of talking about some myths and maybe giving out some evidence, you know, some studies that have been done in those areas. But also, I'm doing this show from home today. So that's kind of interesting. I am not in studio, so it's nice to be home and to be able to do this. So
we're so technologically advanced, aren't we?
That's right. That's right. That's why this show is so much different than shows that have come before. So let's talk a little bit about some of the fitness debates that are out there, and you know, we've been in the field for a long time. Obviously, there's been a lot of debates throughout the years, but there are certain things that stick. And, whether it has to do with flexibility or cardiovascular type training or resistance training or youth sports, whatever it is, there are debates that just tend to kind of evolve over time, and people constantly have their own perceptions and their own opinions. So the first one, let's talk a little bit about stretching, about flexibility. And you as a PT, I know, work a lot you do a lot of body work that includes a lot of flexibility, a lot of manual work. There are different kinds of flexibility. So as a physical therapist, tell the audience and the listeners the type of flexibility that's out there, and then let's break that down and talk about static stretching and dynamic stretching and the differences.
I mean, this really can be a whole show, Dave. Stretching and flexibility can really be the theme of this entire show. So I guess we're just taking a snapshot of what's going on and telling the listeners just a little bit. But there are so many types of stretching out there. I mean, I truly wouldn't know where to start. But I guess I could start by telling you, what I do, what I see the most out there, what are some new trends. I think maybe our listeners would like to start off with stuff like that, And
that sounds great, yeah.
One of, the first things that comes to mind is resistive stretching. I see a lot of people doing that these days. There are many forms of it out there. And what I mean by resistive stretching is they're not just passively or relaxing a muscle and stretching it like we're normally used to. Like you put your leg out over, on a chair and you lean forward. I'm not talking about something like that. What they're doing is stretching and moving it through a range of motion. That's really new these days. That seems to be more functional, more sports specific, more, so to say, really what the muscle wants to do, what it's meant to do in so many planes. So I think that's something that's new out there. I see a lot of that. But yet I still do see the traditional hold the stretch, not for 30 seconds, but hold that stretch for 2 to 3 minutes these days. So I see both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, and I think, that there's a lot of data out there looking at the differences between static and dynamic stretching, but also when they are most optimal in terms of, your exercise regimen, right? And a lot of that data shows that, static stretching before may be injurious and it may be kind of detrimental, whereas after it might be better, whereas dynamic stretching before might be a little bit better as it warms up the muscle and elongates the muscle belly.
Well, Dave, what I do know is that before it really hinders performance, not only be detrimental, but it's really detrimental to performance. So static stretching, pre-performance or pre-event is really not what we do, and that is exactly one thing that we could make sure that people understand is that you do not want to statically stretch a muscle before a big performance or a competition.
I agree. And just to break for a moment, I just wanted to let our listeners know you can call in at 1-866-536-1100 and talk to Dr. Weiss and I about the various debates that are going on in fitness. And right now we're talking about stretching, specifically static stretching and dynamic stretching. The other thing, Scott, is that, many, many years ago, the Whartons, Phil and Jim Wharton, came up with something called active isolated stretching, which is a form of dynamic stretching, right? And is more of kind of a controlled bounce in a way, but it's an elongated bounce. Using ropes and using bands, you can really get not only a good stretch, but you actively isolate the muscle that you want to stretch by contracting the other muscle. So if you want to stretch the hamstring, you're going to contract the quadriceps. And there's obviously this
we've known that.
And all that. Yeah. But
we've known those techniques for a while, and I think these days, Dave, people are labeling it and naming it and calling it different things, but those are forms of what we used to call PNF, or proprioceptive, neuromuscular facilitation, which there are many forms of. But yeah, we know that by contracting one muscle, like if you contract your biceps, like you make a muscle, like, hey, like I'm Popeye, you can ensure that your tricep is stretching and vice versa.
Right.
So they used to do that. So, you know, people can really not only put their leg out on that chair and reach forward, they could contract their quad and ensure their hamstring is going to get the best stretch or one of the better stretches you can.
That's right. Yeah. And, you know, going through in the 90s, going through certifications and that, and understanding the physiology and sort of the anatomy that are the pillars of that idea, it really made a lot of sense. And I remember when the Whartons, you know, sort of gave their seminars, they were working with the University of Kentucky basketball team and finding incredible changes in their performance. So again, it really depends on what it is you're doing. Obviously, it depends on not only the style of exercise, but also when you're implementing it in terms of your exercise program, which is, you know, which will kind of dictate what is most optimal. But the debate goes on, you know, and it's not to say that one is better than the other. I think that they have their place. Right. That's the point. Yeah.
Dave, because I've worked with USA Gymnastics, and I've seen, you know, many gymnasts, whether it's male or female, take part in static stretching, but they're not about to perform. They've already done that, you know, and they hold stretches, again, 2 to 3 minutes. Their body is used to that position. So, like you said, there's a time and a place for both types, and I really do believe you got to do both.
I agree. I agree too. I think that it is a routine, and I always used to call it kind of the bastard stepchild of fitness because everybody's interested in strength and they're interested in, you know, running and doing things that are more cardiovascular, and stretching always kind of takes a back seat. But I think it is really important, especially as we get older. And we've done some shows, you know, on being fit over 50, and one of those areas is flexibility. And that, right, I mean, that goes with, you know, posture, that goes with anything in terms of living a lifestyle that's conducive to health and fitness. I think flexibility is an integral part of that. So, of
course, it's one of the main components of fitness, Dave, you know?
I agree. So when we come back, we're going to hit the debate of, Scott, does it take 20 minutes to burn fat, or when you first start exercising are you burning fat? Debate that's been long lasting. So, yeah, we're going to hit that, and we'll hit some other myths along the way. Give us a call at 1-866-536-1100. This is the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show, and you're on with Dr. Scott Weiss and Dr. David Spearer. We'll be right back.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Phoenix? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Phoenix area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Phoenix is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, call 1-800-400-5569. Seating is extremely limited. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals Guide. That's 1-800-400-5569. That's 1-800-400-5569.
Veterans face treacherous situations filled with peril while serving our country. Many veterans come home physically injured, suffering with PTSD, have traumatic brain injuries or other ailments. Treatment is available, but we need your help. Help Heal Veterans, with the support of generous citizens like you, improves veterans' lives on a daily basis across the United States. For over 45 years, Help Heal Veterans has provided over 30 million therapeutic art kits and craft projects to these critically injured veterans, at no charge to them. Doctors, therapists, and brain injury experts recommend this type of therapy. Since the beginning of World War I, over 100 years ago, art and craft therapy has proven to improve gross motor skills, improve memory, and lessen anger issues in healing veterans. To volunteer or learn more, visit healvets.org. Help a veteran. Visit healvets.org.
You're back with the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show, and you're on with Dr. Scott Weiss and myself, Dr. David Spear. And we're talking about some fitness debates, Scott, and we're, we were just talking about static versus dynamic stretching. And like you said, we could probably donate, or dedicate, should say, an entire radio show to the content. So the next debate that I want to cover and that we sort of have talked about in the past is, does it really take 20 seconds to burn fat? And
what did you say, 20 seconds?
20 minutes, I apologize. 20 minutes to burn fat. And I'm curious as to what your opinion is on that and what you've seen in your practice.
Well, again, I definitely heard, and I think for a while, if you're between, so to say, the ages of, 40 to 60, I think we all heard that it takes about, 20 minutes to start burning fat. No doubt. That is definitely like one of the, so to say, myths that are out there.
Yes. Yeah.
But, you and I as exercise physiologists know that within 2 to 3 minutes and before you get to what we call steady state exercise, and we can get into that, you're producing something called lipoprotein lipase, which is an enzyme, and it's an enzyme that's burning fat. So no, I don't agree with that. It does not take 15 to 20 minutes to start burning fat. The rate at which you burn fat changes over time, no doubt about it, but you start burning fat again within 2 to 3 minutes. So that is a big myth buster that I'd like to, make sure people understand.
Now, to kind of address what you said, I think you said something really important there, which is that the contribution of fat to the activity that you're doing changes, not intensity, but as time goes on, right?
Of course.
So if we look at the contribution of energy expenditure, carbohydrates are the first fuel to burn because they're quick-burning fuel and they're readily available. Fat is not truly readily available, but it will burn over time. I think what they're saying when it takes 20 minutes to burn fat is that the contribution of fat as a fuel becomes the majority fuel after 20 minutes. I think that's what they're saying. So in other words, if we were to look at, data from 10 runners who basically are running at steady state, and steady state we know to be usually hit after about 3 minutes of cardiovascular activity, but steady state, it must be said, is when heart rate is sort of pinned within a certain range where you're not burning too much carbohydrate and you're not burning too much fat. You're kind of right in the middle. And it also is physiologically, steady state is a energy level that you could maintain forever. I remember when the directors of my program said, if you're in steady state, you should be able to go forever and never stop. As long as your knees don't hurt. As long as you're not thirsty. Physiologically, you just go. That's it, right? So that's steady state. So
So you know what I think? I think where we went wrong, Dave, is we adopted that and said, for the weight loss public and the weight loss people, you need to do long, slow distance, and that's going to burn more calories.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think that's
right.
where we went wrong and started to, perpetuate that, because really it's not about, what you're burning, what fuel is burning at the time. It's how many calories are burnt over a period of time.
I agree with you, and right, for the fat loss or for the weight loss that you're talking about.
For the weight loss population, right.
Right. But think about when that debate originated. That debate kind of originated in the 80s. You had Jim Fixx, you had ultra marathoners that were running hundreds of miles at a time, right? Hundreds of miles. And then they would sleep, and then they would run, and then they'd sleep. So the cardiovascular craze was on in a big way. And a lot of people were doing long, slow distance type exercise. High intensity interval training wasn't even on the map at that point. The people who were doing that were sprinters. They were like, the athletes. It didn't become mainstream yet. So I do think that it was a cultural type of shift also, in that that's what people were looking for. And that's why I think that if you want to call it a myth, that's why that myth was sort of perpetuated. It came out of the culture. And now we know that that's not necessarily true, because we have data to prove that's not true. So
exactly. And I guess that's why it's called a myth.
Right. And looking at it from another lens, okay, let's look at it from another lens. Let's take that sort of weight loss idea, and instead of looking at cardiovascular exercise, let's look at the other side of the spectrum and talk about the high-intensity interval training that is now mainstream. Okay.
Wait, but do you mean with lifting weights? Do you mean with lifting weights, David?
No.
Or your resistance training, or do you mean
more cardio?
I see, power-based training or speed training or something like that, without more body weight training, is what you're saying?
Not really. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is cardiovascular in a way. In other words, what you're doing is you're using any kind of activity that in a very simple term, that means cycling, that means running, that means jumping rope, that means doing anything that uses a large muscle group repetitively. So a lot of work has been done, absolutely, but not cardiovascular in the way we used to define it. So here's what I wanted to point out, is that when you look at long, slow distance training, and obviously if you're training for a marathon, you may want to do long, slow distance training, right? You may want some of the training during the week to include that. You may want it to also include hill sprints. You may want it to also include speed work and things like that. High intensity interval training, however, is training that has very, very short, powerful intervals that are high intensity, meaning really, you're talking about 80 to 90% of a maximum intensity level for, let's say, 30 seconds, and then you rest for a period of time. And that could be a minute to a minute and a half, if not 2 minutes. Then you do another 30 seconds, then you're off for 2 minutes. Then you do another 30 seconds, you're off for 2 minutes. So
basically, people can recognize it as high intensity cardiovascular training, period.
Yeah, you could call it that if you want. The beauty of it, so the way that I see it, we kind of were talking about, in the beginning we were talking about this whole idea that, it takes 20 minutes to burn fat, right? Which we know is not necessarily true. Now put that into the perspective of high-intensity interval training, and what do you get? So what you get is a lot of work has been done, especially in Canada, by a guy by the name of Martin Gabala, who's done some amazing work on high-intensity interval training known as HIIT. And obviously you see a lot of gyms that have HIIT boot camps. They have, a lot of places are opening that are just HIIT, right? Everybody's doing HIIT.
So you can be certified, I think. You can get certified as a HIIT trainer.
Yeah, right. But the real reason to do it, the absolute sort of the gem of high-intensity interval is it changes the way the muscle behaves. That's the key. So you're not just doing it to kill yourself and get out of breath and burn fat. What you're actually doing, believe it or not, is the muscle changes from more of what we call a fast twitch fiber, right, a powerful fiber, to more of an endurance fiber. So what they've noticed is that the morphology or the actual behavior of the muscle changes to be more of an endurance type of muscle. It's more aerobic. It's able to endure more time and stress. And I think that in and of itself is incredible.
There's more, I agree, there's more of an adaptation. But from what I remember, through education is that there are, a couple of different fiber types, and fast twitch don't exactly turn to slow twitch. From what I remember, it was those intermediary fibers.
Yes.
There are fast twitch fibers that have a little slow twitch sister, and they really adopt those more, so to say, and those, what we say, the fast oxidative glycolytic. They do a little bit of both. They dance on both sides, so to say. Those are the ones that kind of sway and vary towards whatever training you're doing, whether it be, lifting a lot of resistance and a lot of weight, or doing, as we talked about, high intensity cardiovascular training. That's how the muscle adapts. That's great.
Yeah. It's a great point. And in the next segment, I just want to bring that up for one moment, because I think you brought up a really interesting point where how they're intermediary and they have characteristics of both types of fibers, fast twitch and slow twitch. And you're right. That's where the adaptation actually does take place. But I do want to point out that some of the data, specifically in chronic disease, has had a tremendous impact. So we'll be right back. We're talking fitness myths and debates, and we'll be back with the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show in a moment.
Common sense, independent talk. 1100 KFNX, the true voice of Arizona. Independent Talk 1100 KFNX.
The Trump administration says it's working with governors to immediately deploy the National Guard to combat illegal immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border. Panel of 12 jurors has been seated in the Bill Cosby sexual assault retrial.
The jury is made up of 7 men and 5 women. 2 of the jurors are black. It became an issue when the defense argued that the prosecution was trying to keep black people off of the jury. The argument came after the prosecution used one of its strikes to prevent a black woman from serving on the jury. Ultimately, the defense agreed to proceed. On Thursday, lawyers will start the process of looking for 6 alternates. I'm Steve Kastenbaum.
The accused YouTube shooter who took her own life reportedly was angry at the company for its alleged censoring of her video content. Nassim Agdam apparently thought that made it more difficult for her to make money. She's accused of shooting 3 people yesterday inside YouTube headquarters. I'm Barbara Cusack.
It's time for your 1100 KFNX traffic report, brought to you by Coit Cleaning and Restoration. Take a look out to Tempe. We have an accident at the I-10 westbound at Elliott Road. And in Phoenix, be on the lookout for a collision at 67th Ave at Indian School Road. Get your home clean as new with Coit. Coit Cleaning and Restoration is the industry's oldest and most trusted specialty cleaners, using the most advanced equipment for more than 65 years. Call 1-800-FOR-COIT.
From the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center, as we head into the evening under mostly clear skies, our low tonight 64. Thursday, mostly sunny, high near 92. Partly cloudy Thursday night, overnight low 64. And Friday, sunny with a high near 91. I'm Scott Allen Fortney from the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 89 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Phoenix? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Phoenix area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Phoenix is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text READY to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text in the next 10 minutes and you'll also receive a free copy of Than's Money for Deals Guide. Text READY to 82,000. That's READY to 82,000.
We've been going strong since 1923, and this year, Coulter Cadillac is entering its 95th year as Arizona's oldest Cadillac dealer. Hi, I'm Paul Glanz, General Manager for Coulter Cadillac. What other dealer can claim almost 100 years of service? No one. Remember, it's what happens after the sale that keeps our customers coming back, and that's exceptional customer service. See our exciting lineup of 2018 Cadillacs at Coulter on Camelback and 12th Street or online at CoulterCadillacPhoenix.com.
Join the Scottsdale Philharmonic, Arizona's premier Philharmonic, for a free afternoon of fantastic symphonic magic on Sunday, April 15th at 4 p.m. at Scottsdale Bible Church, located at 7601 East Shea Boulevard in Scottsdale. The free concert will feature Overture to Prometheus by Beethoven and Symphony No. 6 by Tchaikovsky. VIP seating is available for a $15 donation. For information and events, please visit ScottsdalePhilharmonic.com. That's ScottsdalePhilharmonic.com.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
And we're back with the Wellness Roundtable radio show, and we're talking about common fitness debates. I'm here with Dr. Scott Weiss, and we're having a nice conversation, talking a little bit about flexibility and about whether or not it takes 20 minutes to burn fat. We're going to go on to another topic, but we will put up some information on what we just talked about, which is high-intensity interval training, some real interesting research that's been done in that area. The next topic we want to talk about is heart rate and whether or not having a high heart rate is a sign of fitness. And a lot of my training has been in heart rate and cardiovascular physiology. So, I always, again, from an academic standpoint, it might seem that having a high heart rate would be a sign of fitness. An individual who could get their heart rate up, pretty high is a good sign of fitness. But what do you think, Scott, is the actual sign of fitness? Is it a high heart rate? Is it a low heart rate? What would it be?
Well, we know, Dave, we know the sign of fitness is multivariate. There are, you have to have good muscular strength, good muscular endurance, good aerobic capacity, good flexibility, good body composition to really be totally fit. But when we talk about a heart rate, I think the antithesis is what people think, kind of like what you said. It's like, the more I work, the better it is. The higher my heart rate is, the better off I am. The more, in shape I am, or more fit I am. And we know that that's the exact opposite. So the lower your heart rate is, the better your cardiovascular fitness is. And that's just a simple fact that we've known, that you and I have known, for years. I think that people get a little confused, but, they should really take their heart rate the first thing in the morning and see what that is. And one great, option to see if you're really getting more cardiovascular fit is start training and then come back to that same, pulse rate, and you'll see what you're, if you're really making an effect on your heart rate or not.
I agree. There's an excellent test called the Harvard Step Test, or the Queens College Step Test, which is a 30-second assessment where you basically step up and down on a 12-inch step for about 3 minutes, and then you take your heart rate 5 seconds after, and obviously there are normative values that show you sort of where you rank in terms of fitness once you take that 5-second heart rate. The key here, I think you said, is efficiency, and there's a couple of things I want to point out that have to do with heart rate, and not to get too much in the weeds, but I think the big thing that you're looking for is the stroke volume of the heart. How much blood does the heart eject with each pump? And if the heart ejects a good amount of blood with each pump, the heart rate is going to be lower. So in other words, you don't have to pump as much to get the blood throughout the body to the various organs, to the muscles, to the brain, and that's oxygenated blood, right? You don't have to pump that much to get that oxygen out there. That's why resting heart rate is an excellent measure of fitness. Now, it is to be said, however, that some people do have low heart rates for other reasons. And so we can't make a blanket statement to say, well, if your heart rate is low, great, you're fit. That's not always the case, right? I mean,
of course, Dave. I mean, I have patients that are on beta blockers, that are on medications that really artificially slow their heart rate down because of their condition, but that does not mean by any means they're fit.
That's exactly right. Plus, even without medication, an individual who might be older may have a more frail heart, and it doesn't beat as forcefully. So it's kind of like slow, and it just takes a lot of time. That doesn't necessarily mean that individual's fit. Now, the reason I bring that up is because it's not really just resting heart rate as much as it is recovery, right? It's how quickly our heart recovers, which is what you said at the beginning of the segment, and that's why I brought up that assessment, because I think that is a key. There's a researcher by the name of Doug Seals who did a lot of work on heart rate recovery, basically showing how heart rate recovery is a true measure of fitness. So by doing a Harvard Step Test or a Queens College Step Test or any of the other types of tests that allow you to determine heart rate recovery, you can really get a very good sense of your fitness level from a cardiovascular standpoint.
100%. But people, how hard is that to apply? Like, what do people need to do, Dave, to see, how fast am I recovering? You're right. That is such an invaluable tool, which tells you, your cardiovascular fitness. Two people go running up the same hill. One person's like, still talking, no problem. The other person's like, no. But did you? Absolutely. That's like a huge difference. Is that the only way to tell, or
No, what we used to do, and when I was in the clinic, what we used to do is we would do maximal tests, and we would do those tests to determine an individual's oxygenation capacity. It's called VO2 max, but their ability to basically move oxygen through their system and continue to work. But also we looked at heart rate recovery, and really rule of thumb is that the heart rate should drop about 20 beats after it reaches maximum. Now, let me sort of define maximum. When you go to a true maximum, okay, let's say you're an athlete or a triathlete and you're going to true maximum, that is just before you pass out. Most people do not exercise to that level. So we're going to use the term peak. You go to your peak, okay, and your peak is what you can tolerate. So whatever that is, when you get tired and you don't feel like exercising anymore, that's your peak. But it's more subjective than it is, objective in the sense of in the case of a triathlete. So I think when you drop about 20 beats in that first minute, you got to see where your heart rate is. Now, obviously, it's not going to be at where it was at rest, but it should probably be somewhere between 65 and 70% of your maximum level. So, for instance, if you are, and an easy way to determine that without doing a lot of math over the radio is to take the number 220 and subtract your age from it. So if I have a 20-year-old, my maximum heart rate estimated is 2. If I'm at 70% of that, then 140 is that number.
I don't think people heard you on that one, Dave. Dave, I think you cut out a little bit, so I just wanted to make sure people know that, like, again, what Dr. Spear was saying is to find your maximum heart rate, you actually take 220 minus your age, and that is what your maximum heart rate theoretically is until, you know, or what your peak, as he was saying, is as much exercise as you can take, or so to say, tolerate before your heart rate levels off.
Correct. And the other thing to mention, it's known as the Carbonin formula. There was kind of a little bit of an updo of the Carbonin formula, but when it first started out, it was 220, the number 220, and you subtract your age. Now, that doesn't work for everybody. It's just a general kind of equation, and some people have higher heart rates than what that estimates, and some people have lower, maximal heart rates than what that estimates. But it's a good way to kind of just get an idea. But as I was saying, Scott, I think dropping about 20 beats in that first 60 seconds after you hit your peak is a sign, is a good sign.
Is a sign of good fitness?
If you can't fall 20 beats after you reach a peak heart rate, then something's going on. You need to fall.
Then you're not training enough. And your system basically cannot get back to homeostasis or normal fast. So that's a good way of, like, people to understand that is, like, if you can't get back to normal as fast as somebody else, then you know your fitness is not as good as that person.
Right, exactly. And, the Carbonin formula comes with a lot of charts and norms and stuff, and you can measure yourself up against different people of your age group and things like that. So there's a lot of information out there, and I highly recommend that, people go out there and check it out. It's called the Carbonin formula. It's K-A-R-B-O-N-E-N. But it will give you a good idea, as far as what your maximal heart rate is in terms of an estimate. So, we'll be right back with the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show. We're talking about fitness debates. And give us a call at 1-866-536-1100 when we return. And we'll see you then. We'll bring up another debate in about 4 minutes. Talk to you soon.
Matrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Phoenix? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Phoenix area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Phoenix is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text READY to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text in the next 10 minutes and you'll also receive a free copy of Than's Money for Deals Guide. Text READY to 82,000. That's ready to 82,000.
Have you ever considered capitalizing on the millions of dollars being made in the vacation rental business? If so, you need to meet the guys over at Lux Home Pro. They are hosting a 2-day event at the W Hotel in Scottsdale on April 6th through the 8th. Seating is limited. They will teach everything you need to know about locating, negotiating, setup, and marketing of your property for huge profits. You don't even have to own a property. But first, you must apply online at luxhomepro.com. That's luxhomepro.com, spelled LUXHOMEPRO.
Have dinner on top of a mountain. Enjoy a night of entertainment, amazing city views, and night sky viewing with professional astronomers, all while supporting our city's parks and preserves. Join the Phoenix Parks Foundation on Friday, May 18th at Dinner in the Park, Moon over South Mountain, and support your local parks. This one-of-a-kind event offers an amazing evening on top of South Mountain with trolley rides, gourmet food, and drinks. Don't miss this annual event. Tickets on sale now. Moon over South Mountain, Friday, May 18th. Visit phxparksfoundation.org. That's phxparksfoundation.org, or follow us on Facebook.
Back on the Wellness Roundtable radio show, we're talking about fitness debates, and Dr. Scott Weiss and I are going to be talking a little bit about exercising the immune system as our last segment, and it's something that I think a lot of people have questions about. So if you do want to call us, give us a buzz at 1-866-536-1100. We'd love to hear from you and try to answer your questions. And Scott, I think that the big rule of thumb that I always knew was above the head, below the head. So if you have kind of a nose, or a nasal congestion or kind of a heady cold, it's okay to exercise as long as you don't feel that sense of malaise and you can get out and you can, do some activity, maybe not maximal activity. But below the head, it's a different story because now you might be dealing with a respiratory issue, especially, depending upon the environment you're exercising in, can really affect your lungs. So if you're exercising in cold weather, you could cause some constriction there. You could dry it out. You could end up sort of, going into spasm. There's a lot of reasons why you might not want to do that. And plus, it's very difficult to exercise when you have a chest cold, as opposed to, some nasal congestion.
That's a good point. And I usually say, is it like a precaution or a contraindication? Should I not exercise or should I be careful? And that's when I usually say, if it's above the neck, no problem. If it's in the head, you have like a little bit of a sore throat, a little runny nose, just reduce the intensity a little bit. You're not sure what it is. But, by all means, if it's, below the head, and below the neck, then I'm concerned because it might be something a little bit more. And that's when I would really be a little bit more cautious, and I probably would say that's a contraindication. I would not exercise when you have more of a chest cold and you feel like you're breathing, sneezing. That's a little bit different of a story.
Yeah, I agree. And, I've had times where I've been sick and I would exercise and I'd feel better, but then the next day I'm kind of knocked out. So there's that almost like immediate feeling that, wow, this is great. You get a lot of sort of that you get a lot of an increase in that circulation. The mucus is sort of coming out, right? You're flushing your system, but then maybe the virus takes hold. Because we know that with exercise, especially if it's fairly intense, the immune system is a little bit depressed right afterwards.
Yeah, it's a stressor, Dave, no matter what.
Exactly.
Getting sick, what your body responds like is a stressor, and exercise is also a stressor. You're absolutely right.
Right. And so in that case, sometimes the virus will, or whatever it is, may get a little bit more aggressive, and then you may not feel as well. As far as like from a Chinese medicine standpoint, is there any particular, root or any kind of herb that would be recommended for somebody who might be feeling a cold coming on?
That would be a question for, an Oriental medical doctor that really has the training in, not only herbs and tonics, and manual medicine. My background more in the Chinese medicine, Dave, is really with manual medicine and hands-on stuff. So I can't, I wouldn't be able to tell you the genus and species of a root or even, a vegetable that they should take. That's not my expertise, but that would be, maybe we should have an expert on, that one day can tell us more from the nutritional standpoint what we should do.
Well, the reason I ask is because you remember echinacea with golden seal? We kind of brought this up in our, So like people would say that, right, before you have a cold, and that should kind of knock it out. And I kind of wonder, what amount of that is placebo and what's real.
I can't answer that, but what we do know, from an exercise standpoint, is that high intensity exercise, even when you're a little bit sick, is not the idea. High intensity exercise actually depletes the immune system, and we know that from marathon runners, ultra marathons, mountaineers, things like that. But what we call moderate exercise, we know is ideal for the body and ideal for the immune system. And I think that's the key that people should know. But people always get confused. What is moderate, And I think if you can define that for everybody, that would be optimum.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in my academic circles, I think moderate exercise, if we want to use, you can use a very, very simple sort of assessment of yourself as you're exercising, known as the talk test. And the talk test is fairly, I'll give you another one, but the talk test is the first one. It's fairly easy to use, and it's accurate to an extent. So the talk test is, if I can talk like I'm talking now to you in a way that's very conversational, and I have no problems with my breathing as I'm speaking these words, I'm not exercising hard enough. But if I have a little bit of a pitch in my voice while I'm, talking, and I have to take a, breath about every fifth word, then I'm exercising at almost the right pace for what I'm doing. I'm still getting the cardiovascular benefit, but the intensity is high enough that I'm causing a little bit of stress to my body. If I'm exercising and I can't get a word in, then usually the exercise is too intense. And one other way I just wanted to mention that we could assess how difficult exercise is, or what moderate exercise is using the rating of perceived exertion. Again, very, very simple. You can use a scale on 0 to 10, and it's very subjective. You can use it on yourself. So a 5 is middle of the road. If you're an 8, you're exercising pretty hard, and using that talk test, you're probably having difficulty talking. If you're a 10, you can't exercise anymore. If you're a 3, you're probably talking like I'm talking. So, you could use that 1 to 10 scale or use the talk test, but there's some very, very easy subjective assessments to determine what moderate activity is. But I guess talking from a standpoint of exercise and immunity, is there anything that you do in terms of Chinese medicine, whether it be Qigong, whether it be Tai Chi, or whatever it is there anything that has an effect on the immune system? Is there anything that's been shown to be beneficial to that?
Now you're talking more up my alley, because I practice personally something called Lohan Qigong, and it really is, the Chinese believe it to be a health-giving exercise. And what you're doing is really, by grounding yourself, by doing certain or specific exercises, your breath in conjunction with your movements, and knowing a little bit about time of day and when to do certain things, really is what it's all about in Chinese medicine. So there are so many facets of Chinese medicine that can talk about that or give rise to really great cardiovascular benefits, strength benefits, and immune benefits by just kind of taking time out of the day and going through motion and being conscious with motion. That's really what it comes down to, but they have their own system of motion, so to say, or their own forms and styles.
Right, but it's meditative in a sense, right? So you're like you said, you're becoming conscious, you're becoming self-aware.
Yes.
Because I know that there's definitely data out there on the use of meditation to heal the body, right? Whether that's a common cold or something else, there's definitely data that shows that meditation can have a healing effect.
Right, and I think that taking the time out, to do that Qigong and to do your meditation and to do your Tai Chi, so to say, really is what gives your body the ability to heal itself. It helps your body relax and get to a better state, and that's what Chinese medicine is truly all about.
Yeah. So you're talking about recovery, right? You're talking about, doing the exercise that you do in training, but of course, giving your body the time to recover. And, and in that recovery, we gain strength. That's where we gain strength. Yeah.
Just like sleep. And that's, sleep is a whole nother topic, Dave, that I'd love to talk about, but people don't realize the power of sleep. I think it is one of the most invaluable variables in the equation of fitness, wellness, and health. And I would love to talk about that with some sleep experts, coming up.
We will definitely have a show on sleep and on sleep apnea, on various chronic disease related to sleep, on the importance of sleep and exercise. That will definitely be something we will do in the future.
I agree.
But I have to say, can't believe it, but we're kind of done for this Wednesday. This was great, Scott. It was a good conversation. We touched a lot of topics. We talked a lot about
the Wellness Roundtable
debate. Yeah, we had the Wellness Roundtable. If you want more of this, please visit us at wellnessroundtable.com. And we have a great platform up there where you can speak with experts from all over the country on all different topics and issues. You can attend lectures or even explore content in terms of videos, articles, and studies. We also post the radio show up there as a podcast. So on behalf of myself, I want to thank everybody for listening. This is the Wellness Roundtable Show with Dr. David Spear and Dr. Scott Weiss. And we will see you next Wednesday right here. Take care.
You've been listening to the Wellness Roundtable radio show right here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Tune in next week for more from the experts on the Wellness Roundtable radio show.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Show your support for our veterans by attending the Support Veterans Expo on April 7th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the VFW Post 720 in Phoenix. Enjoy 24 speakers and over 30 sponsors at this free event. Help give veterans the resources to fight PTSD, provide support to their families, obtain an education, and prevent suicide. Every supporter has an important mission and purpose for our veterans. For more information, call 602-490-9135 or visit supportveterans.com.
You're listening to Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, Cave Creek, Phoenix, a division of Premier Radio Stations, the home of the Sound.